What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to sit down and play with the Wet n Wild Crystal Cavern collection. Wet n Wild was kind enough to send me this collection and I figured that we would sit down and go through all the products in here today because last time I got one of these Wet n Wild collections, I was like super blown away by how good the quality was in the collection. So I wanted to give this another go today because I'm ready to be impressed again. I think that it's super cute because they're like these little perfumes with like little pieces of crystal that tinkle around the side. So I want to like sniff each one and try that. I thought that'd be fun. And there are also some eyeshadow trios in there and a highlighter and a setting spray. So I'm going to use all of that on camera here today. I'll do some swatches of the lip glosses. And as always, each one of the items in the collection will be timestamped down below. So if there's one specific thing that you're like really interested in over the others, you can jump right to that if you're a busy bitch and you ain't got time. Before we get into the video today, I wanted to make like a quick little announcement because I decided, and I talked to you guys about this on my Instagram story, but I haven't mentioned it on here yet. You guys seem very excited about it when I put it on my Instagram story. I have been thinking about starting like a book club type of a video series. So I would pick a book, or we would collectively pick a book, and we could all read it or listen to it together, whichever is the most convenient. And I would do like a get ready with me while we discuss the book. So I would do like a 2-week check-in, and then we would finish the book at the end of the month. And I think that would be a really cool thing to do, and I got a really good reaction from you guys on Instagram, so I'm super excited about it. I think I'm gonna call it Get Ready With Me. I don't know if anybody's done that before though. I tried to look it up on YouTube and I couldn't find anything, so hopefully it hasn't been done under that name before. But if it has, I will gladly change the name. This was the first thing that I thought was clever that popped into my head. This was inspired by 2 different things. First of all, I absolutely adore the series that Bailey Sarian does where she talks about a murder mystery and does her makeup. I just love the format of that where you get to talk about something else but also include makeup, which is kind of like what connects us all. And the other thing was that you guys had such a good reaction to the way that I kind of implemented a little bit of chatter about the Game of Thrones series when I did the Urban Decay Game of Thrones videos. And I was trying to think of a way that I could like do that more often. And then Bailey's series came to mind. So that's how I came to that conclusion. So shout out to Bailey for changing the game because that is such a brilliant way to do it. And she is absolutely my inspiration behind starting this. I recently got back into reading fiction because I felt like I needed something that was like a little bit like escapism, you know, like to get away from stressful stuff in my life and think about something outside of that. And I find that books are the best way for me to do that. TV doesn't really grab me that way. Movies don't really grab me that way. I love YouTube videos, but too much real world stuff seeps into that a lot of the time, so it's not always very relaxing. So books, even when they're in audiobook form, are like a really great way for me to like unplug and like put my mind on something else that's not in my life, if that makes sense. And I feel like that would be a cool way for us all to kind of do that together. The first book in this little series, I am going to actually be rereading a book that you guys suggested. So one of you that follows me on Instagram, I'm not sure if it was somebody who also follows me here, but it was suggested to me to read the A Court of Thorns and Roses series because I said that I love like dystopian novels and fantasy novels and like young adult fantasy, all that kind of stuff. And somebody recommended me that, like 3 different people actually wound up recommending that one. So I was like, okay, let me get on that. That sounds good. And let me tell you, I have a lot to say about it. So what I'm gonna do is for the first month, I'm gonna go back through the audiobook. I'm gonna make notes and we're gonna do the first video in that series on that book. So if you want to read along, we will start the series in 2 weeks. So the first week in June, I don't know what day of the week I'm going to decide to upload these on, but the first week in June, we will discuss the first half of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I will leave the link in the description to the Amazon page so you can get the audiobook or the digital book or order the paperback or whatever you want. It will be an affiliate link because I'm an Amazon affiliate, but if you don't want me to get a couple bucks off of your purchase, then just go to Amazon and look it up. I'm just putting it there mostly for your convenience. I don't really make much off of it anyway. And I don't really watch BookTube or anything like that, so I don't know how people normally do these videos, but essentially what I plan on doing is kind of giving a synopsis of the story while I do my makeup, and then like kind of just putting in my 2 cents on it as I go along. There will be a lot of spoilers, but that way, like if you are not interested in reading the books and you literally just want to hear me tell a story, then you can kind of hang out and do that too. This is future Nicole, because I just realized as I was powdering underneath my eyes that I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video. The book that I suggested for the first month of the book club idea is quite explicit, and I was not expecting it when I picked it up to read it because it seems like it would be a young adult novel. It is very, very sexually explicit, and not in like a sexual abuse kind of way, although there is mention of that in the book. That part is not explicit, but it is very explicit in like the descriptions of the sex scenes that go on in the book. So I wanted to put that out there in case you're not into that. I don't want to like not tell you and then you have this book and you're like, what the fuck, Nicole? Just wanted to put that out there before we even get started on that. So yeah, now that that announcement's out of the way, I think that's gonna be really fun. I hope you guys are excited about it too. Please do not forget to leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a second to do it, because it helps me out and I really appreciate it. And also, if you're on the new side here, you've like had me suggested to you a bunch of times and you're like, YouTube, why do you keep pushing this girl into my suggested videos? It's because we are meant to be together and you should just subscribe. All right, I think that's all I wanted to get out of the way before we get into it. I'm sorry that this intro was a little bit longer than usual, but I wanted to announce my little book club idea. Let's just jump into the Wet n Wild Crystal Cavern collection. Start playing, I think, let's get into the eyeshadows first. So this collection is split into 4 different sections based on different stones. There's rose and quartz, which is love, jade, which is prosperity, amethyst, which is balance, and clear quartz, which is for healing. And each one has a corresponding eyeshadow trio, a lip gloss, and a perfume. Then on top of that, we have a MEGAGLO setting spray, MEGAGLO brightening highlighter rocks, and a MEGAGLO highlight illuminatress, which is like a bouncy highlighter, which doesn't usually work out well for me. We are going to try to make this work today using suggestions that you guys left me the last time I complained that I didn't like the ColourPop Super Shock ones. But before we start applying any of these on my face, because I feel like I'm probably not going to get even a fraction of these shadows onto my eyes today because they're all shimmers, I'm going to swatch them and like show them to you, like just quick swatches on my arm so you can get a picture of what they look like, and then we'll decide which ones are going to go on my face too. So this is the Rose Quartz eyeshadow trio. This is the Jade trio. This one is Amethyst. That one is the creamiest so far. And this is Clear Quartz. I feel like that one's going to be a nice inner corner highlight. So for the eye look itself, I'm going to reach into other palettes and other eyeshadows because there are only shimmers in this collection, and only shimmers does not an eyeshadow look make, in my opinion, at least on my eyes. So I'm going to grab my Nabla The Mattes collection, little single shadow palette pan, like Z palette type thing. Just put down like a very, very basic look with these to get some framework to put down some shadows. So to start with, on a BH number 5 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Artemisia, put that through my crease, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on the outer portion of the lid, and blending that out with a clean blending brush. On a MAC 221S, I'm going to deepen that up with a little bit of Cherie Shape. So I'm picking up a Real Techniques brush and I'm gonna go into the Amethyst Trio and I'm gonna pick this really metallic shade right down here, the one that's in the point on the bottom. I don't think these have names individually. They don't. I mean, at least they're not written on there if they do. And from my recollection, the Wet n Wild shadows work best when they're wet. So I'm going to wet that with a little Fix Plus and just apply that to the lid. That is very lovely. Picking up a pencil brush, I'm gonna go into the lightest shade in this Amethyst Trio. And I'm gonna wet that and just pop it right in the center to brighten up the middle portion of the eye and bring it forward a little bit like a highlight. And now that we have that nice little amethyst soft look going on in the lids, I want to add something from a different one of the trios. Gonna dip our toe into several, you know. So on a clean pencil brush, I'm going to go into the lightest little kind of duochrome green shade from the Jade Trio. And I'm gonna use that to highlight my inner corner because I feel like it's gonna layer really cool over that purple. And yeah, it does. And I'm gonna pick up the same brush that I used to put down the amethyst shades and just tap over the edge of that to just bring it softly in and blend it with the rest. I'm gonna keep this look pretty light and bright and like soft, I think. So I'm gonna do the waterline with a little bit of my Tarte Fake Awake pencil. Just any nude waterline pencil that wears well on you will do just fine. I'm gonna conceal underneath my eyes and then we will move on to the lower lash line. Okay, I concealed underneath my eyes and I ran a little bit more of Nabla Cherie Shape and blended it out under my lower lash line. I'm going to go into the Clear Quartz Trio and I'm gonna pick up the brightest, most shimmery shade here at the bottom. I'm gonna wet that with a little bit of Fix Plus and I'm going to use that to highlight the underneath portion of my inner corner because I did say earlier that this looked like it would be a nice inner corner shade, but I also wanted to try that green. I'm also gonna take a tiny bit of that on that brush and just pop it right in the center of my eyelid. I'm gonna go ahead and add some lashes and then we'll move on to the couple of skin products that are in here. Okay, I put on House of Lashes Stella Luxe. I put on a little bit of blush and we are ready to try the highlight. So this is the MEGAGLO Highlighter Illuminatress and it looks like this. Let me take a little plastic off or just drop it in my lap. It is called a bouncy highlighter. It's kind of like that cream to powder feeling, very similar to the ColourPop Super Shock, and that is what it looks like when you apply it with your finger to the back of your hand. I did this for my Instagram story yesterday and I'm very impressed with the sheen of it, but I have never had much luck with these as far as how they look on my actual cheeks. Like a lot of times when I use these like creamy, bouncy highlighters, they wind up just not looking like much or really emphasizing my pores. So when I said that about the Super Shock cheeks, you guys suggested that I should do it with a sponge, which I had tried before, but it didn't really seem to work too well. But I'm gonna try that today. So I'm taking my little e.l.f. Cosmetics sponge and I'm going to just bounce it on using that. Well, it is very potent, that's for sure. I'm just gonna grab a little face brush and blend the edges of that because I feel like the sponge like kind of didn't do the blending for me. But other than that, I think the sponge worked. Okay, I'm gonna grab a tiny little brush and I'm gonna use that to apply this highlight to my nose. Seems to be working well on a brush too, but this is a really small surface area, so it's very hard to say if it would be the same like across your cheek with a brush. You know what, I'm gonna try the other cheek with a highlight brush just to see. This is the Nabla highlight brush. Actually worked okay, but it's definitely not as intense as the side that I did with the sponge. Like it's a more subtle application, but it does apply nicely. How it will wear, I don't know because I have never used this formula before, but upon initial application, seems pretty nice. The other highlight product in here is the MEGAGLO Brightening Highlight Rocks. They come in a little tub like this. It reminds me of the Guerlain Meteorites. I didn't really swatch these yesterday. I just kind of opened them up and poked at them, so I don't know how these are going to apply at all. But I'm basically going to swirl my little highlight brush around in here and see if this brightens up that highlight. Not that it needs brightening, honestly. It's pretty fucking bright. I'm going to pop a little bit of the brightening rocks on my forehead by themselves just to kind of see how much brightness you get when they're on their own. It's much more of a subtle effect than when it's combined with the little cream to powder highlighter. Pretty flattering on my skin. I'm not sure how it's going to look on camera, but in person it looks pretty nice. Maybe like a little bit too intense. Like I would probably tone it down for day-to-day wear, but it didn't take much to get up to this intensity. So taking a little bit less on the sponge, I feel like you can get it to like a really nice sweet spot. Texture though, blendability, all seem really good. The only thing is it's like very, very, very light and white based. So I'm thinking that on medium tan, deep skin tones, this might be a little bit ashy looking. There is one more skin item. It's so hard to get these out of the display. I've been pulling them out with tweezers because the plastic in this display is like really hanging on tight to the products. It's harder to pull these out than my menstrual cup, I swear to God. But the last skin item is the MEGAGLO Face Mist. Really, this is a glowy setting spray. Now, normally when I test a setting spray, I would do a wear test on this, but I do need to take this off to go about the rest of my day. And I'll tell you why, because I have kickboxing later. And I have made jokes before on my Instagram story that if I wear makeup to kickboxing class, I'm gonna turn into the meme of the girl, you know the meme where the girl's face got smashed on the backseat of the car and it like left a print of her makeup? I joked that that was gonna happen to the bag in boxing class because they make us tackle the bag all the time. And one day I did wear makeup because I didn't have time to take it off before I got there, and that really happened to me in real life. It was embarrassing. I never again. It was also gross. It was so gross. So I won't be wear testing this today, but I will keep you guys posted on my Instagram stories what I think of the wear time. I'm gonna keep testing it for the rest of the week, but today let's just see how it looks over the rest of these products that we already put on our face. It does look glowy. It does look nice over those products. So far I'm not crazy about the smell, but I mean, it goes away, so it's not really a big deal. It's just, doesn't smell that great when you're spraying it on your face. It smells like something my grandpa used to put on my scratched up knees as a kid. I don't know, it just reminds me of something unpleasant. This collection also has 4 rollerball perfumes. I am very picky about perfumes, and I'm also not great at describing what they smell like, but I'm going to do my absolute best. But what drew me to these when I opened this package is the fact that they have like little crystals inside the perfume rollers. I think that's really cute. I'm not really somebody who believes in like crystal powers or anything like that, or even really knows anything about it, but just from an aesthetic standpoint, I think these are really, really adorable, and I would be very happy to have them like on my dresser, you know? So this one is clear quartz. It smells like, this one kind of smells like, kind of coconutty and alcohol, so kind of like a daiquiri of some sort. And it smells like you went on vacation and you spent a little bit too much time at the open bar. That's what it smells like. And you went in the pool, and then, you know, you kind of like, you smell pretty good still, but you need to maybe get your life together, but still you remember to put on your sunblock because, you know, you're that bitch and you know that you need to protect your skin. That is what this one smells like. The next one is Amethyst for balance. This one smells like my dad. That's not a bad thing. He usually just smells like cologne, but I guess what I mean is it smells a little bit more masculine. It's very fresh. It is like a really crisp smell, but it definitely has like that hint of a masculine scent to it. I don't dislike that. I actually like men's cologne a lot of the times more than women's, but I don't know about balance. This smells like a dude. The next one is Jade for prosperity. Now, this one is the prettiest in my opinion because I think jade is so beautiful. I'm gonna roll it on a different part of my arm so we don't get mixed up over here. You know, these really professional descriptions I'm giving you guys are super helpful and we wouldn't want to get them confused. This one smells like, this one is very like clean. Definitely giving me clean laundry vibes, but in a little bit more of like a feminine way. It reminds me of something that I wore as a kid, but like a lighter version of it. Like maybe it was like CK1 or something. This is definitely not as intense as that because I remember it being very overpowering. But long story short, it smells like the 6th grade dance when Danny told me that we were gonna go together, and then he went with Christina, and then I went home and cried to my mom. And the last one is Rose Quartz, which is for love. This one, also clean, a little sweet though. This smells like a rich older lady who really has her life together. She travels, she's happy, she's in shape, and she's a little bit adventurous. So the perfumes, they're really, really cute. I like the idea. I think aesthetically they're very, very pleasing. Personally for me, none of those scents are something that I would reach for on a daily basis. But I do think that the rollerball mode of application is very convenient, especially for something that's like something you're gonna pick up at the drugstore, because I wouldn't mind just picking up one of these and like keeping it in my gym bag so I can just kind of like freshen up and smell nice again and go somewhere if I needed to after the gym, you know, among other things and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't dislike any of them, but none of them are really like blowing my mind as far as what the scent is like. But if you are personally very interested in them, maybe you wait till you see them in the store, because scent is so subjective, which is why I never really bother talking about it too much here on my channel, because like, I don't know, some people love certain smells and I'm like, but none of them are bad. They're just more of like, I'm more of like spicy, woody kind of a smell person. That's like my wheelhouse. So these are just not typically what I would reach for. The more I look in the monitor, the more I really like this highlight. I feel like it looks real buttery. So the only thing left in this collection is the lip gloss. I'm gonna throw together a little swatch montage here so you can see each gloss on the lips up close and personal, and I will put a little label up on the screen so you know which one we're looking at, and then we will discuss. When there's no hope hiding, no chance concealing what deep down I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing the one who loved me, for who I can't go back to. Walking through all the dust, memories and frame, a past we simply let fade. But I don't close the door, waiting a chance for when we'll be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you. You make me feel amazing when I'm next to you. You make me feel so crazy. Okay, so that's the whole collection. We used each and every one of the products in one way or another, whether it was just a swatch or we actually included it in this look. As far as the glosses are concerned, I chose clear quartz to wear for the rest of the day until I take this off to go to the gym. The ones that I liked the most were clear quartz, jade, and amethyst. Rose quartz is a very nice gloss, but it's not a shade that's for me. Like, something about frosty pinks, I just don't really jive with them. Sometimes I look at them on other people and I think they look gorgeous. So I don't know, maybe it'll look great on you. The gloss formula is not too thick. It's definitely not sticky. It's kind of got a little bit more of a balmy feel. These remind me quite a bit of the Urban Decay Hi-Fi Shine glosses, except minus the mintiness of them. Eyeshadow trios are really pretty. I feel like they are very consistent with Wet n Wild's eyeshadow formula as far as I know it. However, I do really wish that there was at least one matte shade in each quad, because really there's no way for me personally to get complete looks with all shimmers. At least one matte shade is usually necessary. So I do wish there was one of each in there, although I get it, it's supposed to be like a crystal based collection, so they were going for the shine factor. But personally for me, I'd give up some shine for a matte to complete my look. The formulas are nice, they're very pigmented. I do think that you need to apply the shimmers wet. That doesn't really bother me personally because I do that most of the time anyway. Personally, if I was gonna pick up just a couple of the trios myself, I would go with the amethyst and jade. The other ones are very pretty too, but the colors are just not as exciting to me. I am surprisingly into the bouncy highlighter. It worked really, really well, especially with the sponge. I feel like right now this is a little bit more highlight than I would normally go for, but the finish is gorgeous. It looks really like even and it was easy to apply, and it doesn't feel like it's moving around on my skin, so it kind of did set down, and so far I am really into it. The other thing though, the little rocks, they're nice, but they're nothing special, and I just don't think that they're necessary on top of the cream highlighter. I mean, layering them work just fine, but you can really do that with any bright highlighter you have. I don't think that it's necessary to have another item. However, if you're looking for the whole set and you don't have something like that, like that's just like a very, very bright, very like white toned highlight, and that's something that you want, I don't think that it's bad. It just doesn't really stand out to me. As far as the perfumes, I gave you guys my thoughts on that pretty much already, so I won't harp on it too much, but they're very, very cute. Probably not the sense for me, but they're super adorable, and I really love the little rocks inside, and they tinkle around in like the most satisfying musical way when you have it like near you. I'm sure you guys probably couldn't hear it on the camera, but it goes like ding, 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 like wind chimes almost. It's lovely. And last but not least, the MEGAGLO setting spray. I think that this is a really nice setting spray. I don't think it's the glowiest setting spray I've ever used, but my skin looks nice. I will obviously keep you guys posted about what I think of how it wears as far as makeup is concerned. However, I do have to say that this bottle is tiny. So like ounce for ounce, I'm not sure that this is such a great deal compared to other setting sprays. It's only 1 fluid ounce, so it is pretty small. If I could only choose a couple of things to pick up from this collection, I would definitely go for the Clear Quartz Gloss. It's like so crystally and blue and pretty on the lips. I think it's a really, really fun lip gloss. It's just not like your boring run-of-the-mill gloss. And surprisingly, the MEGAGLO highlighter. So those would be my 2 picks. I don't think anything was an absolute dud in here, just some things that are better than others, some things that I think are more worth it than others, but overall, Wet n Wild really kills it as far as drugstore stuff is concerned, and they have been increasingly impressing me lately. So those are my thoughts. So don't forget, in 2 weeks, the first week of June, we are going to do our first Get Ready With Me video. So if you want to read along, I will leave the link to the book down below. It's about really dorky stuff like fairies, but it is like really engrossing, and I am really immersed in their whole world. I feel like it builds really good lore, and you know, we'll talk about my actual thoughts on the book when we get to that video. But I think it'll be a fun read as long as you don't mind a little bit of explicit descriptions of, you know. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you don't mind taking a second to do it, because it helps me out a ton and I would really appreciate it. And also, if you are new here, like I said earlier, go ahead and subscribe. We are meant to be together. If you want to keep up with me between videos, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm at Miss Quinface. I post my lip art over there, some more like elaborate face painty type stuff if you're into that kind of thing, stuff like this over here. Or you could go over there just to keep up on what is going on here on this channel, on my stories. I run polls. I put up like little question boxes for suggestions from you guys, PR unboxings, just fun stuff, and I would love to have you around for that too. That's all for today. Thank you for hanging out and trying this new Wet n Wild collection with me. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next one.